Welcome to the UWS Careers Cafe run by the University of West of Scotland Careers Service and aimed at guiding you to a successful career journey. We will host a series of guests, including academics, alumni, students, industry experts and more. I'm your host, Nigel Royal, and today we have an exciting episode lined up for you. Volunteering is a great way to gain valuable skills, experience and contacts, while also making a positive difference in your community. Whether you're interested in protecting the environment, helping the disadvantaged, supporting a cause, or contributing to your community, there's a volunteering opportunity out there for you. To help us learn more about student volunteering, we have two special guests with us today. First, we have the Student Opportunities Coordinator from UWS Students Union, who will tell us about the benefits of volunteering for personal and professional development, as well as the support and recognition that the Students Union offer to student volunteers. Secondly, we have a representative from a well-known national charity who will share some of the exciting and rewarding volunteering opportunities they have available for students across the country. So stay tuned, get ready to discover how student volunteering can enrich your life and enhance your employability. So if I could start by welcoming Jamie from the Students Union. We've worked together for several years now, haven't we, Jamie?
Yeah, so I've just gone past 5 years being at the Students Union, so
I
don't really know how that's happened. But...
Yeah, well, warm welcome to the podcast today. So I'm going to kick straight off and ask you if you could just tell us a little bit about your role at the Students Union at the moment.
Yeah, so my main role is with supporting our student societies. So I help them get set up and just plan whatever it is they're looking to do, which covers a very wide range of things and across all our different campuses. So that's what takes up the majority of the time. And it's just helping students do the things that they're wanting to do to basically improve their time while they're at uni. Then also I do a couple of other bits. Part of that is helping link students to volunteering with other organisations and things that are outside of the university, just to help them get a bit more experience and do things alongside what they do in university, and just get to enjoy some things that's not all in that little university bubble, and kind of get to know their own kind of the community that they're living in.
So the university and the Students' Union, obviously, we support volunteering in lots of ways. So there must be something in it, right? What do you think are the benefits to students of getting involved in volunteering activities?
I think one of the big things is just actually the chance to get to know other people, just to socialise and enjoy the time when you're at university. I think we've seen over the last couple of years how difficult it can be when that gets taken away from you and it's harder to do things. So I think that's most of the students that get involved with our kind of volunteering within the Students' Union. It is that chance to get to know other people and help bring people together. And that obviously people can get experience and things like that, and can help them figure out maybe what they want to do after they finish university. But I think that really big thing is just being able to set aside a bit of time in your week to do something that you enjoy, and a chance to enjoy that with some other people.
Yeah, so it's kind of meeting new people, getting to know folks, getting involved in your community, as well as that opportunity to perhaps develop some new skills or expertise or knowledge. What sort of opportunities can students get involved in at the Students' Union or as part of the student community?
So I think within the Students' Union, there's kind of two main things in terms of what we do and what students can get involved in. So one is our student representation system. So every course has student reps, so they get elected out of every course group, and they then act as the representation for their course. So if there's any things that are going wrong with their course, or any kind of feedback that they need to give either to the lecturers or kind of feed that back higher up the university, that's something that they can get involved in. And that's really important for making sure that students' voice gets heard at university, and making sure that problems or anything that needs improved gets addressed. And then we've got a student rep structure, so that gets fed up our structure to our 4 student officers, and then their main role is to be the head of that voice for students, and make sure that the university are improving things, and they're setting things up as best as they can to help students through their course. That's something that I think students get a lot out of, in terms of being that, taking the lead and actually getting that chance to be that voice, and support other students and help. Effectively, they're then helping people through their course, because they're making sure that the students are getting the help they need. The other main thing that students can get involved with the union is the bit that I support, and that's our student societies. And that's, I think we've got about 50 odd societies at the moment across our different campuses. And they're essentially student communities that are formed by students, again, just to partly help them through their time at uni, but also, just as I said before, get to know other people and enjoy their time when they're here. And we've got a really wide spread of what our societies are. So there's some that are linked to courses. So we've got like a really good kind of midwifery and paramedic society who do a lot of kind of peer support things, but then also they do a lot of kind of they put on extra courses and things just to build on the experience of what they learn. And then they do fun things as well, like they get Christmas night outs and things like that, and end of year balls. We've also got quite a few societies for maybe linked to different nationalities. I think because we've got a lot of international students now, it can be really helpful, I think, when they come to university, and if there's a group of people that have obviously gone through the same, coming from the same country and same culture, and it's just a chance for them to get to know people, but also kind of help get settled into Scotland or London, and just kind of find their way around university. And then we've got other societies that just do kind of general interests. So we've got like a tabletop game society who essentially just meet once a week and play games and have some snacks and have a bit of a laugh. And that one's been running for quite a long time. We also had this on Saturday. We had our Ayr Student Film Festival Society, and they put on a film festival in Ayr, which was amazing. Both the event and just the quality of the films. And it was really nice to see some of the students that got involved in that society and helping put on the festival weren't film students or broadcast students. They were just people who wanted to get involved. So I think there was a couple of nursing students and a psychology student as well, just helping with facilitate things and helping get photos and videos of the event. So that was a really nice thing to see, a really high quality event. And it was kind of open for any student to get involved in. So yeah, those are the two big things. We do occasionally have if there's other kind of events, when we do kind of our freshers and things, we get volunteers that come in and help be there to welcome students. But it's that kind of being student reps and being involved in societies. They're the two main things that students do in the Students Union.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of value that students can get out of that, not just in their interaction with other students, but also, particularly sort of leadership and organizational skills. But, as you mentioned, sort of creative skills as well in terms of the film festival. But yeah, that all sounds fantastic. So do you also help students find organizations or charities out in the community that need volunteers as well?
Yeah, so we have a bit. So mainly it's done through our website. So we've got a section on our website which has a list of all different kind of volunteering opportunities. They are spread across kind of the areas. Some of them are kind of nationwide. Some of them are specific to maybe say Paisley or Ayr or Lanarkshire. And it's just there's quite a spread. So there's quite different charities that look for kind of help with a lot of kind of support roles for people from different backgrounds within the community. Then there's others. So we've got ones at the moment in Paisley, just as an example. They've got a big Halloween festival coming up, and they're looking for students just to get involved in those events. And so they're kind of one-off events, which I think a lot of students, that can be quite appealing because you're not worried about making a big commitment and it's something you've got to do for a year or 2 years. It's just maybe just 1 day or 2 days. And it's just something that's a bit fun, and I get a chance to get involved in the kind of community. I think particularly if they're new to the area that they're studying in. And yeah, that's done through our page on the website. There's a little description for what all the different opportunities are. And then we've got a little form where people can just sign up to the one that they want to get involved in. And then I'll put them in touch with that organisation and make sure they get the information they need to get started in that role.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely brilliant. We'll put a link to the webpage in the description to the podcast today. Is there any other ways that students can find out about what opportunities? I mean, do you organise any kind of events or anything like that where students can find out about volunteering opportunities?
Yeah, so we had some volunteering fairs across our campuses just over the last couple of weeks, and that was just a kind of good starting point if students are about and looking to get involved in things at the start of term. We're also hoping that throughout the year we'll get some of these organisations in again, just on a kind of regular basis, just maybe in the kind of hub or the atrium areas. Obviously it depends on the campus, and they'll hopefully come in, and if they've got specific things coming up, they'll have a little stall. So I guess if people, depending on what campuses you are, if you're there, just have a look about, and if you see a stall with people kind of looking for people to get involved, it's nothing scary. They're not going to force you to do anything, but I'd recommend just going and asking and seeing what it is they're doing, and it might be something that you could really enjoy getting involved in. So yeah, that's something that as we go throughout the term, we'll get that in on a more regular basis.
No, that's fantastic. We can tell students to keep an eye open in the atrium and down at the student hub for things like that going on, and not to be shy and get involved and go and ask people. Last sort of question for you, Jamie, is I know you're involved in the Volunteer Recognition Award with me. From a student angle, I mean, what do you think are the benefits of students getting that recognition through the award? And I mean, is it something that you feel students value?
Yeah, I think so. As you know, I'm on the panel for when we do the awards. I always say it's one of the nicest bits of my year when we get to kind of read through what people have submitted, because as part of it, they do a little reflective exercise on something that they've done in their volunteering. It's just nice when you see people, they've got involved in something and then they're kind of saying what they've enjoyed about it, maybe what they've got out of it, and then actually what they then want to go and do next based on kind of what they've done for that. So I think the actual award and doing that reflective exercise, it's definitely worthwhile doing just in itself, just as a way of helping people kind of see what you've got out of that and then help you figure out what you want to do next. Also, I know a lot of students do look for just that kind of official recognition of things that we're doing. It's something with people that are on our societies. I think sometimes people kind of forget that that's a volunteering role, and they are actually, they're giving up their time to support other students. I think sometimes people can get bits of other people's experience at university. It's good that they can get that formal recognition. And I know when people come to building up kind of CVs and looking for jobs, it's nice that they know they've got that kind of record of what they've done.
Yeah, but I know you were at the awards event that we ran last was it May time, I think, and we had the students received their awards there, and we had some speeches, and it was all a really positive event, wasn't it? And it's great to see the students getting that recognition that they deserve from their volunteering.
Yeah, and I think some of the speeches were quite inspiring, quite emotional, almost, of just people just being really passionate about the things that they've done and through that volunteering. And sometimes it can be quite simple things, but it can clearly have a really big impact them and other people. So yeah, it's just always quite nice to hear those things. So
thank you very much for joining the podcast today. It's been really useful to get your expert's view on how you can support students' participation and what the benefits are to students of getting involved in all these different activities. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Nigel.
I'd now like to welcome Claire Rowlands from Oxfam to our podcast today. Claire is a volunteer manager working with Oxfam shops across Scotland. We were having an interesting conversation at the volunteer fair recently in Paisley campus, and I thought your input would make a useful addition to this episode because Oxfam is such a well-known and well-loved shop on many high streets. That said, I think retail volunteering can sometimes be underestimated, so I'm looking forward to hearing your take on volunteering with Oxfam. Thanks again for taking part, Claire.
Okay. Thank you for having me today. I'm Claire.
Welcome.
I'm the Volunteer Resource and Engagement Coordinator for the Oxfam shops in Scotland. So it's a really grand title. It sounds fabulous. But in essence, I'm part of a team that are helping the shops throughout Oxfam to get more volunteers and to engage the volunteers. So there's two aspects to my role. Part of my role is looking at the overall plan and seeing how we can improve things for our volunteers and get more of you guys in. And also looking at the actual shops themselves and looking at additional training that could take place. So with Oxfam, what we have is we have like a couple of paid staff within our shops, and then the rest of the team is all volunteer based. So they are empowered to be organising that shop, running that shop, so that we can raise as much money for our good causes as possible. So they can be doing anything from being in the back storeroom, if feeling a little bit nervous about volunteering, being at the till, meeting and greeting people. And it can also be doing our online volunteering as well. So there's so many different roles that they can be doing, and they're all so we're so grateful for them, basically.
Yeah, that all sounds fantastic. Could you tell us, in your experience, from talking to the volunteers, I mean, what do you think makes Oxfam an attractive organisation to volunteer with?
Well, I'll say the reason why I joined Oxfam first. So I've always wanted to do something that's feeding into the greater good, that isn't just making money for shareholders or that person in the ivory tower drinking champagne. I wanted to feed into something that's worthwhile, no matter how small my part. So every day that I'm at Oxfam, I know that I'm feeding into those projects. And it's such a well-established charity. And Oxfam was actually the first charity to have a charity shop on the high street in the UK. And that was way back in 1947. Can you imagine a high street without charity shop these days? It's just bizarre. So it's not just there to raise funds for projects across the world. We're also campaigning to make the world a better place for when we leave it as well. So that's the deep-rooted cause of Oxfam there. But for me, when I walk into a shop, it's the community atmosphere that you get in there. So it's not just you're there to do your shift and you go home again. The teams in the shop really do care about everybody there. If someone is struggling for whatever reason it could be, the other members pick them up. I've heard of volunteers looking out for younger volunteers, so students. We let people volunteer from the age of 14 upwards, so they really do look out for each other. And I've heard of them, like older volunteers taking the students and acting like surrogate parents if necessary. The teams meet up for coffee, and even when they're not on shift volunteering. We organise Christmas lunches for our volunteers. Okay, with it being charity retail, December might be more January time you get your Christmas lunch. We provide travel expenses, and if you volunteer for 5 hours or more in a day, you get your lunch as well. And for the younger people, not me anymore, unfortunately, Oxfam is also present at some of the big festivals in the UK. So your Glastonbury, your Download, that side of things. And if you volunteer for about 3 months regularly, you can apply to be a volunteer at one of the festivals. So you get to go to the festival. You've just got to do a 6-hour shift. You get your camping. You get exclusive bathrooms. So it's not the run of the mill. So it's all nice and clean. And you also get time to go around the festival and enjoy yourself. So I don't think like any other charity in the UK has that option at the moment. But yeah,
if that's
good one.
If that's not a good reason to volunteer with Oxfam, I don't know what is.
I know. I mean, Glastonbury tickets, what are they, about £300 at the moment or something? So yeah, it's a good deal.
Yeah, it's interesting what you've said there actually, because when we've had a chat with Jamie earlier with exactly the same stuff, you know, it was about the community and the sense of being together with other people and supporting each other. So that's a really interesting factor within volunteering, and then obviously added to that the good cause that Oxfam works towards. So I'd be interested in just thinking, from the point of view of a student, and obviously time isn't always as easy to come by as a student, getting assignments in, and it can be quite erratic in terms of their availability. I mean, how does the volunteering schedule work, and would it work for a student to be volunteering?
Yeah, we do have quite a few students volunteer with us, so we are aware that obviously you're going to have peaks and troughs. So you've got your exam time. Your studies have to be your priority during that period. So all we ask is like a couple of hours a week from you, and you let the shop team know if you've got major dissertations, research projects, exams. If you've got holiday time, I mean, you get time off, so you might want to go home to see friends at home, family at home. Just let us know, and we can be flexible around that, and we can work with you so that you don't have to panic when it comes to that. If for a period of time, if you've got a time when you need to take a month off, just tell us and we can organise cover for that. And that's all we ask. We can be really flexible around your needs. And the shops are open 7 days a week. So during normal study time, it can be suiting your time, your schedule, your rota.
No, that's fantastic from a point of view of students, because that can be available at certain points in the term, and then when it becomes quite intense, then it becomes more difficult for them to make time available.
Exactly. Your studies have got to take priority at the end of the day, so we just need to know so that we can work around you.
Yeah. So one of the benefits that we perceive of volunteering is the opportunity to develop skills while they're working. And I'm interested to know from Oxfam what sort of training and support is there to help students make the most of those skills.
Because within Oxfam, when you're volunteering in a charity shop, we've got to go through all the legal side of things, and some of the stuff that you'll be doing, you may be encountering sensitive data as well. So we've got e-learning that you can do before you start your volunteering or on your first volunteer shift. So that's covering all the health and safety, the risk assessments, GDPR, IT, that kind of scope. And then the actual in the shop training is you'll be buddied up with either an experienced volunteer or the manager themselves. And it's on the job training because sometimes that is the easiest way to learn. And you'll be learning about customer service, so meeting and greeting customers, about the gift aid experience, signing people up. You'll be learning to use EPOS, so electronic till systems. And the one that we're just moving to at the moment is quite common beyond big retail as well, not just charity retail. So you'll be getting the training in that, which will then go onto the CV. And then so be buddied up with somebody. So we've got also cashing up training. So once you've got the basics and you're happy with that, you can expand what you learn about Oxfam to as much as you want to do. So you could be cashing up, you could be trained as a lead volunteer where you could be locking up and opening up the shop, and that's all adding to experience. But it's very much led by you. You will not be told to do something you're not comfortable with. I think that's the most important thing when it comes to your experience when volunteering.
Yeah, so it's really helping students to develop at their own pace, isn't it?
Yeah.
So how does this all support students' employability skills, do you think? I mean, you're seeing students as they come through their volunteering journey. I mean, what differences do you see in terms of their employability skills?
So as I said, we've got different types of volunteering available within our shop. So we've got our storeroom volunteers, which if you're feeling incredibly shy, nervous about being customer facing, because let's face it, being customer facing can be an experience. So if you're feeling a bit shy about things, you can start off in the stockroom environment and then that will build up. So you're learning, as I said, your customer service skills, you're learning your sorting, your pricing. You learn about visual merchandising as well, which is one of those skills that you can't learn in a studying environment. It's very much something you need to do hands-on. You need to have those products and the lights and that side of things. And it'll give you an insight into a working environment, working with members of the public, working with people that are out of your normal community range. So it's getting to work with those different personalities, be in a team, having to be reliable and dependable and getting used to that work environment as well. And then we've got our online volunteers as well. So you can be learning about e-commerce. So obviously that's the way a lot of stuff is going on at the moment. So you'd be learning to look for those special donations that may be worth a little bit more, a little bit unusual, and then working out the best way to take a photo of them, the best spiel to get the listed on the website. How much is it actually worth? And then making sure that you meet the deadlines for postage as well. I mean, one of the teams up in Elgin, they were sorting through, it was a big bin bag of clothes with some bits of jewellery in it. And then they found this bracelet in there, and it turned out it was by Cartier and it was worth £6,000. And they managed to sell that online. So you could be that person finding a £6,000 bracelet or a £3,000 Alice in Wonderland book and getting that sold.
Mm-hmm. No,
so it's all about getting experience, basically.
Yeah, fantastic. I can imagine. I mean, I'm one of these people. I'm, on social media. I start, I get some of those alerts about items being up for sale at Oxfam. So, yeah. So, I mean, in terms of if a student wants to volunteer, what's the step-by-step process for them if they want to? If we've sold it to them today, how would they get involved?
Well, there's two routes. So you can go onto our website. So it's www.oxfam.org.uk/opportunities. And then you put in your postcode and that will direct you to the nearest shop with opportunities available to you. Or you can find your local shop and just go in and say, hi, are you looking for volunteers at the moment? And then the manager will go, yes, come join us, come join the team. And we'll talk you through the application process. We do ask during the application that you put down somebody that it can be a reference for you. So that could be your university tutor if you can get their agreement, just to say that you are who you are and you are in the UK. But that's that can be the bit that takes the longest, actually getting the reference back from whoever they put down as the email. So chase them.
Yeah, I'm sure at UWS the lecturers are all quick off the mark with their references.
Fabulous.
Yeah, and so from there, then, I mean, how soon could they be volunteering then after putting an application in?
It could take a matter of a week. It could take 2 weeks. It's just all dependent on that reference coming through. And then we've also got if you're not hearing from the shop manager, there is an email address that you can send off an email to saying, "Hi, can you chase this for me?" And it's givetime@oxfam.org.uk.
Right.
But yeah, it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, as long as that reference comes in time.
Fantastic. So we'll put a link to Oxfam volunteering in the description with the podcast, so students will be able to access the list of shops and so on through that. So our last question then, it's more of a general question, Claire, but it's just, I mean, what would your tip be for a student choosing a volunteering opportunity that suits them?
Well, make sure it's something that you actually want to do and that you enjoy doing. Volunteering is meant to be fun. Okay, it's not meant to be, if you're going to your volunteer shift going, "Oh no, we're doing something wrong." But yeah, it's choose something that you want to be part of, that you've got a passion for. So it could be Oxfam, of course. Come to Oxfam. Or it could be British Heart Foundation. That could be a cause close to your heart. So make sure that it's something that you're passionate about. Be honest with the team there. So if you've got stresses and pressures outside of volunteering, they can direct you to support. Our volunteers have access to the Retail Trust for emotional support or financial guidance. So be honest with yourself and with the shop team as well. And talk to the people that you volunteer with. As I mentioned, it's a real community. So if you're talking to somebody that you may not have met other than volunteering at Oxfam, so you could be talking to someone that's come from Ukraine, you could be talking to someone that's come from Yorkshire. You just never know who you're going to meet during your time there. So really do use it. And if the manager is saying, "Is there anything else you would like to learn?" say, "Teach me everything," and get as much experience as you can out of it, because then you're really increasing your CV, you're increasing your employability. And you know what? Employers look at CVs and they see volunteering, and if they've got somebody that's volunteered or they've got somebody that hasn't volunteered, it just shows that there's something extra about you as well. So it's worthwhile. It's good fun. It really is good fun.
Yeah, we totally endorse that. You know, from the stories that we've had from students, it's about enjoyment, it's about meeting people, and it's about enhancing your experiences and skills that are going to help you make you more employable. So there's lots of reasons to volunteer. So, I mean, that's been a really kind of quick talk through volunteer. I'm sure there's lots more you could tell us, Claire, but we've only got so much time today. But it's definitely given our listeners an insight into what Oxfam does and how volunteering makes a difference, and the steps that Oxfam is taking to make sure its volunteers get back what they put in to their volunteering. So thanks very much for your input there. And, you know, I hope we've generated some interest from students and that you'll get lots of applications over the coming weeks and months. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for having me today.
Very welcome. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and if we've whetted your appetite for applying to volunteer, I'm sure there'll be an opportunity out there for you. There are so many great ways to have an impact while enhancing those all-important graduate skills, and hopefully all the while having fun and meeting interesting people. We've included relevant links in the description to help you get started with your research, but don't hesitate to get in touch with either Jamie at the Students Union or myself for help with finding a volunteer place. Keep an eye open for our next podcast episode. I hope you can join us then. You have been listening to the UWS Careers Cafe, the podcast from UWS Careers team with hosts Una Ramsey and Nigel Royal, where we talk about everything related to student and graduate careers. If you have enjoyed listening to this episode, please check out the others in the series. Also, you can follow the link in the description to our website, where you will find an amazing array of career resources to help you forge your path to a rewarding career.